3 years ago, I ditched the Elementor and jumped on a Gutenberg wagon. Now, I know a bunch of people who still think that Gutenberg sucks, and in this video, I'm gonna make a full walkthrough so you can see by yourself whether it's any good. So, if you're interested, then jump in. So, let's take a closer look. I'm gonna go to the Pages, add New, and let's add a page title first. Now, the area you see here is divided by 3 sections. First, the top bar above here, then the left part, this one on the left, and then the right sidebar here. And also there is a small area down below here, but I'm gonna take a closer look at it later. It's for the navigation. First, let's take a look at the top bar over here. This WordPress icon takes you back to the dashboard, which means if you want to exit the editing page, then just click here. This plus icon here toggles the block inserter. If you click on it, then you'll see all the blocks that are available at the moment. Just a quick remark, most likely you don't need 95% of those here. Later I'm going to show you how to disable the ones you don't use. This section allows you to search blocks, for example image or heading and so on. You can also use block patterns that are available. Just click, select the one, and if you click here, it will be added to the page. Once again, just click here and it will be added to the page, and just point and click and you can edit it. There is also a media. You can open up the images which are uploaded, or openverse free images you can add to the site if needed. You can search, for example, computer, and then you just click and it will be added to the site. So, blocks, patterns, and media. Next one, if you open up tools, you can switch between edit mode and select mode. Select mode allows you to select stuff, but you can't edit. Edit mode allows you to select and also edit. Undo and redo buttons, and this one here is a block navigation panel. You'll see what blocks are added to the page. For example, if I select this one here, it will be also selected on the navigation panel. You can drag and drop the blocks. Just drag this one in a place you would like it to be. There are 3 dots here. Click on it. You can copy block, duplicate block, insert before or after, move the block, copy styles, paste styles, lock, create reusable block, or group blocks. Also, you can remove it. So, if you would like to remove this stack, then just click and remove. The same goes with this group here. Remove group, remove columns, or undo this way. If you would like to duplicate the block, just duplicate, and it's here. There is also an outline view. If you click here, then you'll see what is what on the page. There are currently 443 characters, 75 words, time to read less than 1 minute, and you'll see the overview. This is the left part. Now let's move to the right part. There is a Save Draft button. If I click on it, then it's saved. I can exit and it's here. It's not published yet. There is a preview button. I can preview it as a desktop or tablet or as a mobile view. Or I can preview it in a new tab like this. If I would like to publish the page, then I'm going to press on publish. It asks me whether I'm sure. If I don't want these pre-published checks, then I'm going to deselect this one, and next time it will not ask me this. Here I can select the visibility, whether it's public, private, or password protected, whether to publish it immediately or schedule it. I'm going to publish it immediately. So, publish. Next, there is a settings panel here. If you click, then the sidebar will disappear. If you click once more, then it will reappear. Now there are 3 dots here. First, you can select whether to display the top toolbar or not. As you see, this is a toolbar here. Spotlight mode, which means only the block you're editing is spotlighted. If I click here, as you see, only this block is highlighted. This makes the editing a bit easier, especially if you have a lot of content on the site. I can deactivate this one, and I can deactivate the full screen mode. This means the sidebar on the left is visible. Distraction-free mode means that nothing here is displayed, which means all the editor is cleaned up and you'll see how does it look like. I'm going to disable this because I like when the options are visible here. Next, whether you would like to see the visual editor or code editor, most likely you won't need the code editor, so activate the visual editor. Next, manage reusable blocks. I'm going to talk about the reusable blocks a bit later. Keyboard shortcuts you can use, welcome guide, and copy all blocks. Copy all blocks is a really nifty feature. I'm going to show you what will it do. So, copy all blocks, update, go to the dashboard, let's add another page. For example, services, paste, and all the blocks I had on a previous site are pasted here. This way you can paste all the styling, info, and so on. It becomes handy if you're creating complicated layouts or so. Next one here is preferences. First, under the general, there are publishing options, whether to include a pre-published checklist, appearance, distraction fee, spotlight, show button text on labels. This one here, as you see, I don't like it. I like the buttons more. Whether to always open list view, use theme styles, and display block breadcrumbs. All the explanations are here. This one allows you to select what type of blocks you would like to be enabled. For example, I know that I don't use this one. I'm not going to use design options. I'm not going to use theme options maybe. This way I can disable the ones I don't need, which means this one here becomes a bit less cluttered. And panels, you can select what panels you would like to be displayed. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So these are the panels. Featured image, discussion, page attributes. If I open it up and I don't use discussion or page attributes, I'm going to disable those. But if I use custom fields, I'm going to activate this, enable and reload. Those are the custom fields, but page attributes and discussions are disabled. Let's disable the custom fields also. Now let's take a look how to add blocks to your site. Currently there are 3 ways how to do that. First, click on the plus button and drag block in the place you would like it to be. For example, here. Or you can just click and it will be added to the place where your cursor is at the moment. For example, if I click here and add the heading, it's here. Second option you have is you can click here, this plus button, add block, select the block, and done. Also, if there is a plus button inside the column, then click here, search, for example, image, and add it here. And there is also a fourth option. I'm going to add a slash, search for a block, and add it here. Now rearranging blocks is easy. Just click on the drag icon here and drag it in a place you would like it to be. Or another option, there is a move up or move down arrows here. Or third option, open up the navigation panel and drag and drop the blocks as you like. Now there is a navigation panel down below here. It displays a structure. For example, if I select this group here, as you see, it says it's a columns group. Now if I click here, it says it's a heading block, which is inside the column block. And there is a paragraph block, which is inside the column block, which is inside the columns block. If I would like to select the column, I can click here or here. The same can be done here. Just open up the navigation panel and you can select and edit them this way. Now let's take a look at the blocks themselves. All blocks have a customization options. That means if I click here, then this panel here displays all the customization options. Pay attention that this one here is for page settings and this one here is for block settings. So if I would like to customize this block here, for example text, I can select the color, background. If it's a link, then I can select the link settings. Size, if you don't like variables, then you can also use pixels, EMs or REMs. For example, 25 pixels. Dimensions, padding and margin can be set up. And under the advanced option, you'll see that you can add a HTML anchor or additional CSS classes. Now pay attention that depending on the block you're using, those options here can be different. For example, if I add an image here, then you'll see that those are different options here. Alternative text, image dimensions, border, rounded, and so on. Now let's take a look at the formatting options here. I'm going to add a paragraph block, some text, and you'll see based on the block itself, you have a menu up here. So you can format your text, bold, alignment. You can add links, choose whether to open it in new tab. You can also highlight, create inline code, inline image, strike through, subscript, super subscript, and so on. This is for the paragraph block. If you click here, you can change the block type. For example, maybe you would like it to be a list block or a heading block, quote, and so on. Now let's add the image block. So once again, based on the block, the settings you'll see up here may be different. Now let's talk a bit about the reusable blocks. Let's customize this heading block here. For example, text and link and size, for example, 32 pixels. Now, if I click on these three dots here and select Create Reusable Block and give it the title, Heading 3, the next time I can search for this block. Heading 3, it's a reusable block which contains all the customization I added to this block here. Let's update it. Click on these three dots here. Now select Manage Reusable Blocks. And pay attention that if I change the options here for this reusable block, and now when I go back to the page, then this block here and this block here has been also modified. So, once again, let's search for Heading 3 block. Maybe I like all the customization it has, but I need to tweak it. Then I'm gonna convert it to regular block, change the size. And next time when I change reusable blocks, then this one here and this one here will be modified, but not this one because I removed it from the reusable blocks. Next one, let's take a look at the tablet or mobile view. Currently, Gutenberg doesn't have any options to modify text or blocks for different devices. And therefore, most of us use third-party plugins, for example, Cadence Blocks or so. And this is a limitation at the moment. It's all nice and dandy, but if you come from the page builders like Elementor, then you probably saw that it lacks some features, especially if you would like to customize it for the different screen sizes. Well, I have a news for you. There is a third-party plugins you can use. And if you use a third-party plugin, for example, Cadence Blocks or so, then it's basically like Elementor. You don't believe me? Well, let's take a look. It's a third-party plugin which adds all sorts of page builder features to your site. I use it basically on every site I create. Currently, it has more than 300,000 active installations, great reviews, recently updated. So, let's take a look how to use it. Go to the plugins, add new, search for Cadence Flux, install it, and activate it. Now there is a Cadence Blocks settings menu. There is nothing to configure here at the moment. Later you should take a closer look, because I have seen that in the future there will be some other option added here. But now let's go to the pages. Let's open up the About Us page. I'm going to select all blocks, delete those, and I'm going to use a Cadence Flux to design this page. Couple of options you have here now that you didn't have earlier. If you click on the plus icon, you'll see that there are 21 additional blocks here, those here. And also you'll see there is a design library. If you would like to add a hero section on your site, just select the hero, see whether it's free or pro version here. You can use only the free version. If you would like to use a pro version, then it's even more awesome. Take a look at the video description and you'll see there is a link to the Pro version. Just follow the link and you'll get the 10% discount. But just click here. It will be added to the site. If you would like to remove it, then just remove the layout. There are a bunch of options here. You can filter them by style or by color. You can disable the live preview if needed and just select the section you would like to use. Once again, you can use the free version, but if you have a Pro version, then you have more options here. There is also third addition to your editor, this icon here, Cadence Blocks Controls. You open it up, then you can add the colors to the color palette, set the blocks visibility. Maybe if you don't use show more button, then just disable it. You can select whether to disable or enable it for all users or no users. This way you can control who can use the blocks and what are the features they can use. There is import-export block settings and you can reset block defaults. Now when this is out of the way, let's add a block here. And let's start by adding a row layout, 2-column layout, this one here, and there are a couple of options. And as you see on top, there are a couple of customization options. First, what is the block width here? For example, if I would like it to be 100%, then I can set it like this. Or pixels, the content width is 1200 pixels. Or I can use a theme content inner width that is set by my theme itself. Now, whether it's wide width, full width, or align center, I'm going to set it to full width. Next, I'm going to open up the settings and you'll see those are the settings here. Vastly different than the default block settings. Just to remind you, I'm going to add the paragraph block here. And as you see, this is for the default blocks and this is for the Cadence blocks. Much more options. You can design every aspect and for every device. Just for a quick demonstration, let's add a background here. For example, this one. Let's add the parallax effect, overlay, color. Back to the layout. I can add a top divider, for example, this one, or a bottom divider, this one. I can set column count. I had 2 columns, now I have 1. If I have more than 1 column, then I can choose the layout of the columns here. For example, let's choose this one. Under the advanced, I can set the paddings as variables or as pixels. Same with the margin. Under the structure settings, I can set the minimum height to 700 pixels or view width or view height. I can set the inner column height to 100%. Under the visibility, I can select whether to display this row only on desktop or tablet, or I can display it only on mobiles. Also, I can hide it from the logged in users by user role or logged out users. I can set this block layout to be as a default. What does it mean? If I save it as a default, the next time if I add a row block, these are the settings that are automatically added here. Now I'm going to align text to the middle. Next I'm going to add a advanced text block. It's basically a heading block. I can choose what type of a heading it is, or maybe it's a paragraph, span, or div. Alignment. Also I can do it here. Under the style I can select color. Now once again I'm gonna choose a row layout. I forgot to mention that you can also drag the width of the columns here. Back to the heading, as you see, all sorts of settings here that the default editor doesn't have. Now in order to keep this video short, I'm not gonna go over all the settings it has, but it will give you an overview. The main benefit you have is that you can customize it for the different devices. For example, let's choose this row layout. I can select that for the tablets. It should collapse. The heading should be bigger. And just to confirm, this is for the desktop, this is for the tablet, and this is for the mobiles. I can once again change it. This makes editing for the different devices much easier. Now I'm going to show you one of my favorite features that Cadence Blocks has. For example, I'm gonna add a info box here. Set the title, add some text, change the background, add a border. And now if I add another similar block, then I can choose this one, copy styles, and paste the styles to the other block. This saves me so much time, and this is the reason it's one of my favorite features here. And all it can be done with a free version of the Cadence Blocks. So it's an awesome plugin. And if you have previously used page builder like Divi or Elementor, then it should probably look familiar to you. So, to sum it up, you have 21 new blocks. Those are the blocks that the default editor doesn't have. For example, accordion, advanced gallery with a bunch of customization options. All sorts of goodies here. In a month or so, Cadence Blocks 3.1 will be published. It has even more cool stuff in it. And this concludes the part about the WordPress editor. But it doesn't work only with the Cadence Blocks. There are dozens of third-party plugins which do basically the same. For example, Spectra, Stackable, and so on. Just find the one you like the most and you give it a go. And now let's answer the main question. Whether Gutenberg still sucks? Well, it depends on the view. Yes, of course, it may take time to familiarize yourself with it, but if you give it a chance, and probably you'll find it can be used and very successfully. But if you are used to the Elementor, then it's pretty okay if you stick with it. Which means, for some of you, Gutenberg still sucks, and for some of you, it still rocks. Wait! If you find this tutorial helpful, then press thumbs up, this one here, and take a look at this side of the screen. It contains 2 good videos. I think you may find them useful. Meanwhile, take care. Bye.